Markets are at all-time highs again. So people should be the wealthiest that they have ever been because the markets are at all-time highs. Now it's important to protect that, but continue to grow those assets in all market conditions. We have to kind of continue this discussion about retirement because it's kind of a goal of everybody at one point. Now, you mentioned some of these other assets which allow leverage to the average investor. And options is probably, I believe, one of the most versatile assets to utilize, especially in retirement accounts because of that leverage, right? There's techniques and strategies to protect what you have. I mean, these markets have been soaring. We kicked the show off here today. Markets are at all-time highs again. So people should be the wealthiest that they have ever been because the markets are at all-time highs. Now it's important to protect that, but continue to grow those assets in all market conditions. Talk about options. Why are so many people utilizing this asset to potentially even purchase stocks, which are expensive, at a discount?
Well, you mentioned all-time highs. Has the market ever been at all-time highs before and then gone through a correction?
I think so.
Numerous times. Absolutely. So when you go into retirement, I mean, you've worked hard for maybe 30 or 40 years, and you want now to retire in confidence, retire in comfort. The last thing that you want to have happen is somebody else take away some of the money that you've worked so hard for. One of the mistakes that people make that I started talking about before is ignoring the impact of a correction. Back in 2008, when we went through that, or 2007 to 2009, we went through that last recession, a lot of people ended up losing 40 to 60% of what they had in their retirement accounts. Why is that important? Well, let's just say that you were down 40%. That means your portfolio has to regain a 67%, has to be up 67% just for you to get back to where you were before that correction took place. If you're down 60%, your portfolio has to be up 150%. So protection is really important. The last thing you want to hear when you retire is a financial advisor saying, hey, don't worry, it will come back. That's not what you want to hear. Or you don't want to hear this, that you have to look at this as a long-term strategy. Look at it as 10 to 20 to 30 years. Tell that to a 70-year-old and see how well received that is. So options can be used as protection. It can be used as an insurance policy. The big players do that all the time. Warren Buffett trades options. He doesn't necessarily tell the public that, but he makes about $7-8 billion a year trading options. Options can be used as protection, as kind of an insurance policy on your portfolio. But also, what if you wanted to enter a position in a particular stock, but you thought the price was too high? You're going to wait until it comes down to a lower price. What if you could actually get paid cash to wait for it to come down to a lower price and then get in? You can do that with options. What if you owned a stock, you were going to sell it, but of course you want to get a little bit more for it? What if you could just wait for the price to go up higher, but you get paid cash while you're waiting? Those are things you can do with options. What if the market is flat, if it's sideways, or if it's trending, it's going up and down and up and down? There are strategies you can use with options where it doesn't make any difference if it's going up or down or if it's flat. You can actually profit from that. You can benefit from that. Options can be used in up markets, down markets. It will allow somebody with a smaller account to control a larger number of shares than they normally would be able to afford. And the return also is kind of magnified. Kind of a rule of thumb is if the underlying asset that you're trading the option on is up 10%, the option is probably going to be up about 100%.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of listeners that their 401k is not really keeping pace with their age, and they are always hearing it will always come back. We're in it for the long haul. Is that a real strategy? All it is a warm puppy dog feeling just to keep you in the market.
Yeah, basically all you can do is cross your fingers and hope things go your way.
Yeah, and these markets have been soaring. But do you want to be at the mercy of the market or the mercy of a broker and advisor with their best interests, especially when you get into retirement ages? And I'm glad you brought up the old our Uncle Warren Buffett. And most investors make their decision based off what somebody is telling them, what the news is saying, what they can read on the internet. And Al, you were talking about, does Buffett really tell people or the public He's investing in options. He tells people to buy stocks.
Right. But then he also will not tell people he's bought stock until he has actually finished getting his full position.
Correct.
Then the movement's already taken place. It's too late.
Yeah, so you're late to the party, and that's why it's important to understand on a price chart these turns in price. And when institutions or people like Buffett are moving these markets, you identify that, and that you identify that imbalance of supply and demand. Now, there's a lot of difference. You know, we kind of kicked the show off on the second segment about the returns of the average person and the smart money, the institutions. The difference is skills, right? There's a difference between knowledge and skill. The public has knowledge, but they don't have the skill. How does somebody start to gain that skill in trading and investing?
Well, that's one of the things I think that the Online Trading Academy really excels at is building skills. You know, you could spend the rest of your life in the library or at Barnes and Noble or on YouTube getting knowledge. And knowledge, there's plenty of sources of knowledge out there, which is great. That's where you have to start. But what do you do with that knowledge? Because it's of no value. In fact, it might even be dangerous if you don't know how to use it and when to use it. That's skill building. That's a process that takes time. That's not something you can't just read a book on how to have a skill at something. You have to actually start doing something to build up the habits that really result in the skill to use the knowledge properly. But when you're doing that, when you're repeating activities, you want to make sure that they're the right activities, that they're working in your favor. And you need to do that, we feel, under the guidance of somebody that knows what's going on, that maybe worked on Wall Street, maybe was responsible for that order flow we talked about. They were trading with such large quantities that they could see and they could actually move the price of something. Those are the guys that you want to have watching over you and helping you while you're learning. Part of skill building, since it is an ongoing process, is having access on an ongoing basis to these people that have this experience. The Online Trading Academy students have that. They have access to live trading sessions where these instructors, these pros, are actually trading. They're actually setting up trading ideas and educating you on why they're doing it, what they're doing. That's really how skill is built. And it's really an important component of having the opportunity to be successful. So it's the knowledge, it's the skill building, it's having tools and resources that will actually help you to get to the goals that you want to have.
And Al, it's been a dark week. Let's brighten everybody's day with some words of wisdom.
Well, it's a sense of urgency. I just want people to understand that there's some great opportunities. And again, learn how to react before something happens. And unfortunately, we see a lot of people, maybe people listening that are saying, I'm not quite ready, maybe later, maybe tomorrow. And that's typically because of fear, of concern. We understand that, and we kind of build our education around that to reduce fear and to increase confidence. So what is tomorrow? You want to wait until tomorrow? This is what tomorrow is. It's a mystical land where 99% of all human productivity, motivation, and achievement are stored. So if this is something that could possibly provide a benefit to you and your family, why would you risk never realizing that benefit because you sent your opportunity to tomorrow?
Same time as always, right here on WCCO next week. Retire young, my friends.